Hello, twisted humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. Okay, we are in the 80s now. This is episode 80. Holy cow.
I know. Before we know it, it's going to be episode 100.
Still don't know what we're doing for that yet, folks, so help us out. Let us know what you want to hear.
But that's
Do you?
Sidebar for Sierra.
Oh my god, did you hear that?
That was a real burp.
It was real!
I think I need to keep
it.
that in the episode.
Oh my
If
goodness.
you are a patron, you know that Sierra has never had a real burp in her life. They are dragon farts. They are just little throat noises that she makes. That was impressive.
I get one like maybe every 5 years. So that was fun. I liked it.
A rare unicorn sighting of Sierra's burps.
Once in a blue moon.
Amazing.
What's your fun fact for today?
My fun fact is about Minnesota. And I know I'm offending Minnesotans everywhere. When you think of places that boast plenty of shorelines, you're probably thinking Florida, California, Hawaii. But Minnesota is known as the land of 10,000 lakes, or more precisely, 11,842 lakes, and actually has more shoreline than Hawaii, Florida, and California combined. And that is according to
Crazy.
National Geographic, right?
Yeah. I knew that. I'm pretty sure the word Minnesota means 10,000 lakes or something like that.
That makes sense.
So I knew that part, but yeah, it's crazy when you think about like the shores, like because it has shores inside, not on the outside. Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Very interesting. My fun fact today is about spiders.
Oh no.
So I did this thing the other day. Did I say this already on here? I'm not sure. I didn't kill a spider.
Okay.
In my house. I didn't kill it. And like I just let him go. And it was weird. Like I don't
Him and release him? Or...
No, I just let him hang in my house. Like I don't know. Okay, listen, I saw the spider in the bathroom when I went into the bathroom in the morning. And I opened the bathroom door. He was in there in my kid's bathroom. And he was on the floor. And I went in and they had clothes everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, gotta clean up their clothes. So I picked up their clothes. And on my way out, I looked at the spider. And I swear to God, it was looking back at me. And its eyes were sad. And he looked like he was pouting his lip. Like, I know you're about to kill me. And I was like, I'm going to pretend like I didn't see that spider. And I stepped over it and walked away. I don't know where he went, but I could see him being sad at me. And I just couldn't kill him. It was the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
How big was it?
I mean, little. It was a little tiny jumping spider.
Oh.
But he just...
You sensed...
Yes. He communicated to me with his conscience to my conscience telepathically, and I felt guilty, so I was like, I'm not doing it. I don't know where he is now, but I didn't kill him.
And I hate spiders.
Yeah,
I don't kill them because they eat all of the gross things that the world creates.
Yeah. I usually, if it's in my house, I'll usually kill it just because, like, my kids will freak out. And if it's outside already. I don't want to touch it. And my kids are going to freak out if it's inside. So I usually kill him inside.
Did you name him?
And I was just like, I can't. I didn't. I don't know his name.
I have a spider on the outside of my deck named Samson that eats all mosquitoes. We have an understanding. He stays outside.
Right. Yeah, I have like 8 black widow spiders outside my house. But it's fine. They never move from their web. So I'm like, all right, you hang out right there. I'm going to hang out in here.
Poisonous?
Yes. Well, not all black widows inject their poison. They all have it, I think. Yeah. Yeah, they have like a red hourglass on their belly.
Oh, I've only ever seen one in my life, and it was in my grandma's closet.
Yeah, there's a bunch here.
Okay,
sadly.
So I'm definitely not sleeping outside. It was a running joke, but now it's not happening.
Yeah. Anyway, to my spider fact. My spider fact is that researchers are still kind of trying to figure out how spiders don't stick to their own webs. Because spider webs are sticky, you know. There's bugs that stick to spider webs all the time. And sometimes, like rarely on occasion, you'll catch a spider stuck in his own web, like not able to move. So, like, researchers are like, okay, but do they or do they not? Like, how do they not? Or how come some of them do? And some people think that it's because every other line that they spin is sticky. So they'll do a sticky one and not sticky, not sticky. And they know which ones were sticky and which ones were not, so they only step on the not sticky. Sometimes when they get rambunctious, then they accidentally step on a sticky and then they're stuck.
Yeah.
Other people think that, well, it's actually because they're hairy legs. Like, of course they're not sticky. They have like this repelling mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, how come some of them would get stuck then and some of them wouldn't? So they think that it's kind of like a mixture of these things. Is like they're still doing tests on this, but the final say is like
Easy.
Maybe it's a mixture of the two. But they're kind of super smart.
No kidding.
And now I'm glad that I didn't kill the jumping spider in my bathroom.
And he's smart enough to have communicated with you.
Exactly.
So
spiders can communicate with us. That's my fun fact.
Per Sierra. I mean, I get
Right.
that.
It's factual to me.
We feel energies from the world around us, and that's just what witchiness is. So I get it.
Yeah.
He probably did sense it. He was like, God damn it, I've been compromised.
Yeah, it was a sad moment, but hopefully he lived. If my kids or husband saw him, they probably squished him. I don't know. I don't want to know. I let him live. Anyway, let's get off of the depressingness of maybe if
Your family killed the spider.
For some reason, I just wanted to say Pete the Spider, and it's probably because Peter Parker, but that's his name now. It's Pete the Spider. Okay.
I like it. I dig it.
So, yeah, Pete the Spider.
May he live
hopefully
on
he's alive
and kill all of the mosquitoes from Sierra's home.
But in better news, sangria.
Yeah, so good. Tell us what's in this deliciousness. Oh, damn it, I didn't grab a fork.
Gotta grab my sangria rag. Because I just stuck my fingers in my sangria. This sangria is mostly fruit. So much fruit. I squeezed 1 lemon in, 1 lime. I meant to add simple syrup and then realized I was out, so I used agave syrup instead, but it's fine, same thing. The Merlot that we used last week, of course, and then fresh fruits like strawberries, kiwis, blueberries, and grapes. My blueberries and grapes are frozen, but my strawberries and kiwis were fresh, and they I think I had them in the fridge or freezer for like an hour, but either way, you can tell all of the fruits are infused together. It is so good. It's sweet, but in a natural fruit way. It's so good.
I think arguably you could use really whatever fruit you had in your fridge that kind of needed to get used, especially if it's overripe. I think it's like even better in terms of a sangria. So look at all that goodness.
Yes, so much fruit in there. It's delicious. I really like it. I liked the Merlot anyway, surprisingly. But this definitely makes it better. I'm gonna give this, I think, an 8.5. I don't remember what I gave the drink.
You gave the wine an 8.5. So.
Oh, did I? Well, then this is a 9. It's definitely better than the wine alone. And it was so simple. It's just fruit and fruit juice. I didn't even add any extra alcohol. So good.
Did you top with a bubbly?
I did. Oh, yes. Sorry. Ginger ale on top is what I used. I used ginger ale specifically because it has like, I use Canada Dry ginger ale too. It has a flavor. Like, ginger ale has a different flavor than just soda water. And I wanted that ginger ale flavor.
It's so good. I love it. I'm giving it a 9.5. I think that's the highest rated red sangria I've ever had because I actually prefer white sangrias usually, but
Yeah.
and it's like weird because the day that we're recording this is the last day of August. It's almost our birthday month, but
Yes.
it just feels weird whenever we drink red wine in the summer. So we always rotate, but I'm definitely a winter red wine kind of gal. But this is really good, and I'm glad that we do it this way. And Sia is the best bartender ever
Thanks.
for picking it. Future suggestion, just out of me, if you guys have any, let us know, please. Mango. We have not done a lot of mango, so I think for our next white or
Mangoes?
even if it's frozen mangoes or like canned.
Mangoes taste like armpits smell.
I think we're now learning why Sierra has not picked a lot of sangrias with mangoes. Jesus.
Yeah.
They don't taste.
Sorry.
What mangoes are you eating?
When you peel a mango and you cut it, it tastes like body odor smells. Like the smell you get when you smell someone who hasn't put on fucking deodorant, or when you forgot to put on deodorant and you sniff your own armpit. That's what mango tastes like. It tastes like that smell. I don't like it. Jesse agrees with me. My kids agree with me. Okay. I don't know if this is the alien DNA
family
thing,
gene that you have
but
going on.
yeah, okay, you guys, DM us right now if you think mango tastes like armpit smell. Please. I need to know that my family is not the only one. I like it in things. I will admit that. I've had like a pineapple boba drink that had mango boba in it.
So in sangria?
Yeah. We can try it in sangria. If you eat mango by itself, fresh mango, you cut it, you eat it, it tastes like armpit smells. Really does. Okay, we are done talking about sangria now. We're gonna get straight into some depressing shit. But first, a quick break to hear a promo from Homespun Haints. Okay, back from our break. Time to get into the sadness. Today's episode is a disappeared episode, but I want to admit up front that I sort of
Did you cheat again?
I cheated.
Is this like
I didn't
Men in
break
Black?
the rules. No. It's a true crime case. There is a disappearance. But it doesn't quite end that way, if that makes sense.
Okay.
There is a disappearance, though.
Okay.
So, let's get that going right from the start.
So
on November...
the assignment is still understood.
Yeah, for the most part. Mm-hmm. On December 16th, 2012, Cari Lea Farver was reported missing by her mother. And from that day forward, she would never be seen again. She disappeared.
Okay.
But let's get into it. Cari was born on November 30th, 1974, and so she was just days before her 38th birthday when she disappeared. It was also just a couple days before her stepbrother's wedding, which was really a really important event for her whole family.
Aw.
Cari had two dads growing up. Her mother and father met in college, quickly settled down together to start a family, but then not long after, they realized they didn't know much about each other and they weren't in love. So they split, but stayed very close and amicable for the children. Her mother, who she lived with most of the time, got married again a little while later to her high school sweetheart, someone she had always been in love with from the start.
Oh.
So, Cari grew up with both men being a constant, loving presence in her life. She got to be a daddy's girl twice, but she was also extremely close with her mother. They were like best friends.
Oh.
They talked about everything, including the depression that set in Cari's life in her 20s, when she decided that she didn't like where her life was headed. She had started and stopped multiple career positions, never truly satisfied with any of them. In one session with a psychiatrist, with patterns showing through, the doctor diagnosed Cari as being bipolar and set her up on some medications. Eventually, Cari decided to go back to school and learn about technology. With this new knowledge, she was able to score a great job that she really loved and really excelled at. All of the rough patches Cari had been in, including multiple bad relationships, marriages, divorces, and restraining orders, seemed to be wiped away by the happiness that she found in her new career.
I assume restraining orders on other people, not on her.
Correct. She had to get a restraining order out on at least one of her boyfriends, ex-boyfriends, who was just a nightmare to deal with. Yeah. Nothing, extremely notable that was reported on, but it was reported that she had a restraining order on this person.
Okay. When you're like, multiple restraining orders, I'm like,
yeah. Yeah. She also moved into her family's property, which was a home that she had always admired as a kid, and she lived there with her teen son from one of those past bad relationships that she recovered from. The dad wasn't involved too much, so it was just Cari and her son. And of course her family, who was always there for her and with her. So one day, Cari took her car into the mechanic shop, and she met a guy.
Okay.
She could tell he was into her, and she was definitely into him. But she was in work clothes, possibly even a work car. It didn't quite specify. She was trying to be professional, and of course, this guy was literally at work, so he was also trying to be professional. But they definitely flirted a little bit.
Okay, get it.
Cari told her best friend about this attractive guy. He was about her age, didn't have a wedding ring, was definitely flirty. She wanted a reason to see him again, but didn't know how to, while still remaining professional. It was 2012 at this time, so dating websites were super in for the quote-unquote older crowd.
Yikes.
But she had never been on one before.
Okay.
So she made a Plenty of Fish account specifically with the hopes that she would see her mechanic on there. And a few weeks later, they came across each other's profile on Plenty of Fish.
Okay. I know I've never heard of this case because I've never heard the name Cari in relation to Plenty of Fish, but I know that there's another true crime case that's related to that website. Quick PSA, guys. Be careful who you're going out with.
Yeah.
Drop a location to your friend. Maybe have them sit in the corner like a weirdo and pretend they're not there. Just people make me nervous.
Here we go. His name was Dave Krupa.
No.
Dave was recently divorced from a woman he had 2 children with. Her name was Amy. Dave and Amy had been together since, forever. Years. Over 10 years. But Dave was very adamant that he never wanted to be married. For many years, his spouse, Amy, was fine with that. No big deal, whatever. We're still together. But eventually, Amy told Dave that she was nearing 35, and she just did not want to live the rest of her life unmarried. She felt like they were going nowhere, and she wanted to leave and start over with someone new before she got to be an age where it would get too hard for her.
Makes sense.
So they split up. Dave was living his bachelor life again and using the website Plenty of Fish to fish for women. He went on dates with about 50 different women in 1 year. But it wasn't because he was bored of them or some sort of asshole. It was because after meeting them, none of them wanted what he did. He told every single one of the women that he met on the very first date that he did not want to be in a relationship. He wanted to have a companionship and even sex, but he did not want to be tied down. Some of the women didn't want to go on another date after that. Others thought, yeah, that's fine. I can be cool with this. And then eventually were like, nah, I can't, and broke it off. And others of them became part of his usual rotation. They knew exactly what was happening. They knew he had other girls, but they were fine with it. One woman was a really good friend of his, had been for a while, and she agreed to casual hangouts and hookups sometimes.
Okay.
Another woman became known as his Wednesday girl. because they had a running date night every Wednesday.
Ew.
Wednesday girl was Shanna Elizabeth Golyar, who went by Liz. Liz had a pretty hard childhood growing up. She was actually born as Shanna Kay to a young, unmarried mother with a father who was abusive.
Oh.
Child Protective Services took Shanna Kay and her little brother when they were just 1 and 3 years old because of the abuse that her mother was enduring from the boyfriend. CPS didn't see abuse on the children, but they also didn't want it to escalate to that, so they took the children away pretty young. After the kids were taken away, Shanna Kay's mother kind of snapped out of her weaknesses really quick and kicked her boyfriend out of the house. She cleaned up real nice, kept him away, and eventually she was allowed to get Shanna Kay and her little brother back. On the day that CPS was bringing the children back home, the young mother walked down the street to a laundromat close by to freshen up the kids' bed sheets. But while walking down the street, she was hit by a car driven by an epileptic teenager who had already had his license taken away.
No.
Shanna Kay's mother died, and the kids were separated and put into foster care, where Shanna Kay became Shanna Elizabeth and would later just go by Liz.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
I know, right? It's the saddest story. She was just about to get her kids back.
Yeah, that's like a fuck you from the universe for sure.
On a happier note, she probably went out like the happiest she's ever been. Like, I'm about to get my kids back. This is the best day ever. She died on a high note, you know? That story was really touching, so I had to share it. Back to Cari now. Stories about Cari.
Yeah.
So, when Dave saw that Cari was on Plenty of Fish, he was also pretty excited about it. Just as Cari thought, he was totally into her. All of the women he had met on the dating websites, of all of the women he had met on the dating websites, his interactions with Cari had been the most genuine and the one that he was most interested in. But he didn't want to be creepy, so it started as sort of like a, sorry, this is awkward, you have to see my dating profile, you know, like, I'm trying to be professional, don't look, I'm embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
It turned into, like, you know, silly, flirtatious friendship, and then just after a few texts back and forth, they were planning a date together.
Okay.
After the first date, Dave had such a good time that he didn't even give her the usual speech that he gave everyone else about not wanting anything serious.
Like Wednesday girl.
Right. But to his surprise, Cari later texted him with a request.
Okay.
She said she was having a great time, but she didn't really want anything serious. She didn't want to ever get married again. She had been there, done that. She already had a kid, and she was just really focused on her job right now. She was having fun with him, but that's all she wanted it to be. No strings attached, just hangouts and hookups whenever they were both free. Dave felt like he had hit the jackpot. He really, really liked her, but that was exactly what he was looking for as well, and he was nervous that she wouldn't understand that. So to know that she wanted the same things was a relief.
Okay, I'm nervous.
In just 2 weeks after the first date, the two felt that they knew each other very well, and they were great partners or friends with benefits or whatever you wanted to call it. The week of November 12th, 2012, Cari had a big work project that she was going to be cramming for and late meetings that she'd have to be attending. Dave lived very close to Cari's work, and Cari lived like 40 minutes away. So she asked, and he agreed, for her to stay at Dave's place for a couple of days. Her mother was going to keep an eye on her 15-year-old son and make sure he got to school okay for a few days. Cari stayed the weekend before and a few days into the week, but on Tuesday, November 13th, 2012, was the last time that Dave said he ever saw Cari. And he was the last person to see her as well.
Do we believe Dave?
Well, Here's how the story goes. Dave said that he went to work earlier than Cari did, as usual. Just a couple minutes early, like 30 minutes earlier. And
Okay.
she was still at his house cramming to get some things done before work. She even texted her coworkers that morning. I think even called one of them on the phone, was like, yeah, I'm almost done. I'll be headed in just a little bit.
Okay.
She even, I just said that. But then she never went to work. Ever again in her whole life. Dave said he got a text message from Cari a couple hours later saying that she wanted to move in with him. And he texted back a little confused, like, that is not what we agreed on. I don't want that, and I honestly didn't think you did either.
Yeah.
And she responded, quote, "Fine, I hate you. I'm dating someone else. I don't want to see you anymore. Go away." End quote.
What?
Dave was probably a little annoyed, but also really confused by her sudden shift in emotion. But this wasn't the first time that someone he had dated couldn't handle the no strings attached lifestyle that he wanted. So he just let her go, whatever. But the text messages from Cari did not stop coming in after that.
Yikes.
And this is where we put a break. Da da da. On the Friday after Cari didn't show up to work, Cari's mother reported her missing. Cari had missed her stepbrother's rehearsal dinner, something she would never do, especially since her father had recently been diagnosed with a terminal illness, and this wedding would likely be the last family event he could attend.
Aw.
She didn't show up to the wedding the next day either, and she also never showed up to her best friend's baby shower that she was supposed to be hosting.
Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag.
When Cari's mother reported her missing, the police asked many questions about Cari and quickly learned that she had in the past been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and bipolar. Being an adult with someone looking after her teen child, having a high-stress job, and being in a deeply sad situation with her father dying soon, police assumed that she must be having a manic episode. And even though it's not like her to act this way, usually, she's not really in any danger if she just wants to get away from it all. She'll come back if she wants to, they thought. Shortly after this theory from the police, everyone was receiving text messages from Cari again. She told her mom not to report her missing. She was fine. She just needed to go. She had accepted a new job in Kansas. She texted the police department's non-emergency contact saying she was fine, not to waste their resources. She texted her coworkers saying that she had to quit because she went to work for a better position that she was offered in Kansas, and they could give her position away. A good candidate would even be one of her friends, Shanna Goyler. She texted her son saying, "Sorry, little man, but Mom has to figure herself out right now, and you'll be better off with your grandma." And she continued to update her Facebook statuses, where she deleted Dave as a friend, by the way. She also continued to text Dave Krupa, and even some of his random hookups and hangouts. But these messages were much different than the ones that she sent to friends and family. The messages were mean and cruel and threatening. She'd say stalkerish things like, "I can see that you're wearing a red shirt today. Who is that whore you were just flirting with at work?" She would also...
I don't like Dave. Just putting it out there.
Would also start messaging Dave about his Wednesday girl whenever he hung out with his Wednesday girl Liz, calling her a whore. This went on for months, and it got really serious really fast. Dave's windows at home would have rocks thrown through them, especially when Liz was at his house or when she was home alone after staying the night, like in the morning. Liz's belongings were vandalized, as well as Dave's windows at work were vandalized. Liz's home was even set on fire. Text messages were coming in to Dave, Liz, and a bunch of the other women from over 30 different phone numbers, 30 different emails. Sometimes, specifically on one occasion, Dave had 50 emails in one day.
Ew.
Yeah. Dave and Liz both were receiving the brunt of the harassment, but it could be because it started on a day that, Liz was at Dave's house. The two of them became really close because they were together while they were receiving harassment. So they were kind of surviving the terror of Cari's harassment together. Liz became more than just a Wednesday girl. Dave was super sorry that he got her into this mess with some crazy girl that he dated. But, of course, Dave was still Dave. He wasn't trying to settle down with Wednesday girl. When he did try to go on dates, though, Cari would blow up his phones with texts and calls while he was on a date. She even started sending threatening emails and texts to his ex-wife, Amy, whenever he saw her for the holidays with the kids, or when Amy had to communicate with Dave at all about the children. Eventually, Dave couldn't go on many dates at all. He kept finding himself planning a date night and then getting stood up to find out that he was actually catfished by Cari. She had multiple fake dating sites, and whenever he'd go to a restaurant or wherever he was meeting his date, she would text him like, "Haha, I got you again. You're so gullible."
Yikes.
The harassment went on like this for nearly 3 years.
What?
All this time, Cari's son had turned 16, 17, 18. Her father had died. Her best friend had the child, Cari's niece.
Aww.
And she wasn't there for any of it. But her family wasn't really involved with the harassment situation as much. They never knew Dave, and they definitely didn't know Liz. They also didn't believe that Cari was still alive. The police had told Cari's mother that they were looking for her, and she'd surely be pulled over and brought in eventually. Her mom had hope that she was just out there somewhere, sure. No one wants to think that their child was gone for good. But Cari's mom already had a sort of closure from the very beginning. Just a couple weeks after Cari was last seen, her father died. And right after her father died, Cari's mother had a dream of Cari's father saying goodbye one last time. And he told her that night in the dream that Cari was safe with him. Cari's mom knew in her gut that her daughter was dead and in heaven with her father.
My eyes are watering.
Super a lot like the fucking recap we just did.
No kidding.
Yeah.
But, that just goes to show you that something's happening here.
Yeah.
As soon as you started saying it, I didn't think that... I'm not gonna... Nope. I'll say my theories from the end. I'm gonna be good.
Well, like I said, I cheated a little bit on this disappeared. You don't need a theory because I will tell you the final answer.
Okay.
The final-ish answer. What's your theory?
I think that Cari... Or not. Sorry, not Cari. I think that Liz has something to do with this.
Okay, let's see.
Because I think she wanted Dave all to herself.
Let's see. So 3 years have passed at this point, and there were new, younger police officers on the case of missing Cari Lea Farver. Her vehicle had been found near Dave's building in the early months after her disappearance. She never picked up her last check from work. She never touched her bank accounts again. And so they wanted to look at this situation from every angle, not just the one that says she was diagnosed as bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
Around Christmas time in 2015, Liz and Dave's relationship was a bit on the rocks. Amy, his ex-spouse, had just gotten a divorce from the man that she just had a baby with. And Dave, being a great friend and father to his own children, wanted to get the new baby and Amy some Christmas gifts along with the ones he got for his own 2 children. Liz thought it was weird, let her opinion be known. He and Liz were very close after these 3 years of annoyance from Cari, but they still weren't exclusive. Dave wasn't in a sexual or even emotional relationship with Amy again, but he was trying to be nice, and Liz had no right to give her opinion on the matter. So they kind of stopped seeing each other for a little bit. But then Liz had to go to the police to report receiving harassing emails and messages again. This time from Amy.
Oh, what? So weird.
Things like, he doesn't love you. He always loved me, so stay away from him. And I've killed for him before. I can do it again.
Yikes.
Liz told the police that she was beginning to think maybe Cari wasn't the one harassing them all those years. Maybe it was Amy impersonating Cari all along.
Oh.
Because why would someone that Dave only dated for 2 weeks harass them for 3 whole years?
Yeah.
It must be the ex-spouse, Amy.
Fair.
She's like, you guys better go arrest her. Like, this is crazy. She probably killed somebody. And the officers are like, okay, I'm understanding. I'm smelling what you're putting down. Let me get those emails. Like, let me just download them real quick.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, here's my phone. Download them.
Yeah. Here, take all of my things.
They also let her know that they can't just arrest someone based on a theory. That's not how crime works.
Yep.
If there was no proof that she had hurt anyone, they could not bother her.
Mm-hmm.
This was on a Friday.
Okay.
The next day, Saturday, December 5th, 2015, at about 6:40 p.m., police were sent out to a park where a woman had been shot.
No.
It was Liz, lying on the ground, shot in the back of the leg. She was still alive, and told them that Amy had done this to her.
Yeah, I was going to say, there goes my theory, but then I'm like, no, my theory's raveling back up into this.
And she was taken to the hospital.
Okay.
When police arrived at Amy's house, she was inside with her 2-year-old son. Car still cold and undriven. No guns anywhere. But having just downloaded the contents of Liz's phone the day before, even the deleted stuff, the police weren't too worried about Amy hurting anyone. Actually, they told Dave and Amy both to watch out because they were not safe. It turns out that Liz was not at all who she said she was.
Called it!
Yes, she was Shanna Elizabeth, previously Shanna Kay, but she had never gone by Liz before. She was just Shanna. That's how her best friend knew her, and how her boyfriend Todd knew her.
Oh, that's a twist I didn't see coming.
Shanna had been with Todd for much longer than she knew Dave. Todd worked in IT and was a really sweet, probably super gullible dude.
Poor guy.
When he first met Shanna, they really hit it off, but he could tell that she was insecure. She often said things to him like, "You don't even like me," or "I know you just want to cheat on me." But Todd, sweet, sweet Todd, would respond by saying things like, "I don't know who hurt you in the past, but that's not me. I'm not going to do that to you."
Oh, Todd.
He treated her well and gave her a lot of money.
Oh.
She always needed it.
Apparently.
And he also began to really love and care for her 2 children. Oh, yeah, did I forget to mention, Shanna has 2 kids.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I didn't mention because she was never fucking with them, ever.
Yeah.
Dave knew that Liz was a single mother, but I guess he assumed the kids were just like always with their dads. When in reality, Todd was watching the kids for Shanna/Liz on Wednesday nights because she told him that she had a second job and was also taking classes to become a nurse.
Oh, what an asshole.
That's
no,
where
she was just Wednesday girl.
Yeah, she was getting some from someone else.
Poor Todd.
Yeah. The 2 kids that she had were actually with another man, one that she used to be married to. They only lasted a few years and 2 kids before he told her that he just wasn't in love with her anymore. But that didn't stop her from trying to get back with him back then. When he finally got into a new, serious relationship and eventual marriage, Shanna terrorized the woman with stalking, keying her car, throwing her ex-husband's things at the house when his new girlfriend was there, and even going as far as dyeing her own hair the same as the other woman's and buying the same car as the other woman, as if she was going to steal her life.
No!
Yeah. Needless to say, this girl and Shanna's ex did not make it. This girl pieced out because fuck that shit.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then Shanna found Todd and backed off a little bit. Like I said, Todd was so great to her, and honestly, she needed it because she was broke and could not take care of herself or her kids. The house that...
Because she's too busy being crazy.
Right. The house that, quote-unquote, Cari set on fire was the one that Shanna leased from government assistance. And coincidentally, Shanna hadn't paid her rent in a while. And when it was set on fire, she was soon to be evicted. Instead, she got insurance money from it and moved in with Todd. And you know what? It's actually a good thing.
In a nice little bow, hey?
It's actually a really good thing that she moved in with Todd, because when police downloaded her phone that day that she came in and got all of the emails that Cari or Amy or whoever the harasser was sent, they found that all of the emails and texts from the last 3 years of terror had all come from the same Wi-Fi network's IP address. Todd's.
Oh! Plot twist!
Well, while police were gathering this information about Shanna, she thought she was just getting away with it all. She asked why Amy wasn't being arrested for shooting her and for harassing them and for killing Cari, and the police told her that they wanted to get her on the murder, but they had to wait until they found some more proof that Amy actually did it. The next day, wouldn't you know it, quote-unquote Amy sent Liz an email with a confession of killing Cari. The email said that Cari was stabbed in the abdomen or the chest multiple times and then burned and put out with the trash. It also mentioned a tattoo that Cari had in a private area of her body that Amy or Liz could not have known about without, forcibly seeing it. Because the emails were still coming straight from Liz's phone on Todd's Wi-Fi, the police took this as a bit of a confession. Even if it's not 100% true, most people sprinkle the truth into their lies because it's the information that's in the forefront of their minds. They knew that Cari would never be found.
No.
The police asked her to come in to talk about the emails that they got from Amy. And while they talked to her, they executed a search warrant at the home that she shared with Todd, who was more than happy to help give all of the information to the police.
No kidding. Todd's like, this lady is a crazy bitch.
Yeah, get her out of my fucking house.
Used me and abused me for the last few years.
But they found multiple cell phones, a video camera, a digital camera, and many memory cards. The video camera had a video on it that had belonged to Cari from way back when she was still alive, proving that it had been hers before Liz got it. They also did a search warrant for digital files and found all of the emails and Facebook accounts and messages that were usually sent using online services and fake numbers like WhatsApp. Shanna Elizabeth Gollier was arrested and waived her right to a jury trial. Instead, she wanted only the judge to determine her fate. The smoking gun used in this case was a photo found on one of Shanna's memory cards. It was a close-up of a foot with a tattoo. Cari's foot tattoo. But according to forensic experts, the foot in that photo belonged to a dead person. It showed signs of decomposition.
No.
Shanna Elizabeth Gollier was charged with 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 count of second-degree arson and was sentenced to life in prison on August 15th, 2017. She has requested multiple appeals on the belief that the evidence was insufficient to prove that she had killed anyone or that there was even a person who was dead, since they did not have a body to provide. She still claims she's innocent, but so far all of her appeals have been denied.
Good. Fucking psycho.
Yeah. Cari Lea Farver is technically still missing. although now it's her body that her family is looking for. There's not much hope in ever finding her, but at least they get a little bit of closure knowing that she wasn't just some woman having a manic bipolar episode, and she is safe with her father. That's the story of Cari Lea Farver.
Why did you do this to me?
Dude, I read, there's a book that I read about this. It's called A Tangled Web, hence my spider fun fact. It's by Leslie Rule, daughter of Anne Rule. And it's so fucking good. It is a mess of information, but oh my god, it was so good.
Does she write other books? Because her mama
usually
is an incredible writer, so.
Yeah. So she explained in the, preface of the book that she is a writer, but she writes paranormal stories. This was her first ever true crime book, and she only wrote it because after Anne Rule died, Anne Rule's, what's it called? Fans were like, you need to write another book. Yeah.
When?
Apparently a while ago, because this book came out a little while ago. Let me see.
Did you just shatter my whole world?
Let's
No,
see.
she did not.
When did Anne Rule die? July 26, 2015.
How did I not know this?
Yeah. But after she died, all of her fans were like, you need to write a true crime book. We miss your mom's books. And she's like, I don't write true crime. I write paranormal. And then she heard the story and was like, okay, I'll try. This is crazy.
I'm upset for a whole different reason.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Guys, I've been reading Anne Rule for like 8 years.
Yeah.
How did I not know?
Well, now you can read Leslie Rule.
Oh, I'm upset.
Yeah. It was so good, though.
Okay, I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm going to cry about Anne Rule in my own time. Oh my god. So Sierra just ruined my brain in 2 ways.
I'm sorry.
2 episodes in a row.
It's what I'm good at.
I love you.
Ruining lives.
You're not ruining lives. You did an incredible job of telling that story.
Thank you.
Definitely gonna have to check out this book as well as Anne Rule's daughter, Leslie.
Yeah, when I was Leslie Rule.
Sorry, I heard after you said Anne Rule died.
I'm sorry. Honestly,
no, I'm gonna have
when
to check it out, because paranormal, that sounds cool.
Right.
Right up our alley.
When I first started reading this book, like the first 2 or 3 chapters was so much detail about every little thing, like Dave's life, Amy's life, Liz's life. I was like, what the fuck are you why are you writing all this? Like, are you just trying to fill pages? Like, I don't care about any of these people. Tell me about Cari. And then by the time I got to the end, I was like, oh my god, I'm so glad I knew all of that other information because it was really important to the story.
That's like totally Anne Rule's style of writing. It's like she gives you
so
all
much
of
detail.
the information.
Yeah.
Like you'll see shortly, because we're gonna get there. A book that Sierra and I are reading together for our, Twisted Twin reading book club. You're like, why is this relevant? It is. It always is.
It is.
That's just her style. She likes to give all of the info up front.
So unfortunately, I don't know, bonus content, Naria probably knew before she started this episode what it was about, because on my Goodreads, I had finished this book and she liked it. And I was like, oh no, she's going to see what I'm covering.
Naria is our lovely listener and patron. You can thank for the Mothman prophecies rabbit hole that Sierra went down.
Yeah. Yeah, so she has like a little sneak peek into the things that I'm researching, I guess.
I'm gonna join eventually. I'll let you know when I do. And
good.
Yeah, go check out those things. Go leave us a 5-star rating and review, guys. me and Sierra are going to be seeing each other very soon.
Very
and,
soon.
And we've got some embarrassing content that we would love to share with you. So,
yeah.
And we'll see you next week for a new episode, of course. But before we get there, Sierra, what day is it today?
Today is September 13th. And on this day, in 1922, New York experienced the Straw Hat Riot. Which sounds kind of hilarious, but was actually really sad and brutal.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so...
As I'm singing about New York.
Have you ever heard that you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day?
Yes, but why?
I don't know, because people are dumb.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me.
Not wearing white after Labor Day is something like that rich people made up to be able to tell if other people were rich. Like, basically, they were like, psst, tell your rich friends not to wear white after Labor Day. Rude. And if people wore white after Labor Day, they're like, ah, ha, 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 those people are poor.
Rude.
But this is not about that.
Yeah, it's like you don't have other clothing options.
Right. So the straw hat trend was kind of like that. In the 1800s, men wore hats all the time. Every day, men wore a hat. Usually, the hats were made out of felt. But the summers were really hot. So in the 1890s, people finally started making breathable hats. Straw hats. At first, men wore these hats while out on a boat or doing other outdoor sports. But eventually...
a fedora.
Right. Mm-hmm. But eventually, they just wore them all summer long to keep their heads cool. For whatever reason, teens despised straw hats. For a while, it was deemed unacceptable for a man to be wearing a straw hat after September 1st.
Sounds like Gen Z.
Right? No offense. Honestly, it sounds like boomers. Like,
yeah.
They're like, no change. Stop changing things.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, a few years later, it became a little more acceptable because it was still really hot, but you definitely couldn't wear a hat after September 15th. Like, that was the cutoff. No straw hats after September 15th. If a man was caught wearing a straw hat after September 15th, teens would run by, take the hat off your head, and stomp on it on the ground.
Oh my god!
And
Why are you this like
you
this?
can't even say, what the fuck? Because others would be like, well, why the fuck are you wearing it? So, anyway, back to September 13th, 1922.
What is this teen bullying of
Seriously.
the old time days?
The teens of September 13th, 1922 seem to be particularly enraged and evil. They snatched and stomped straw hats 2 days before the unacceptable date, by the way.
Rude.
This is the 13th.
Rude.
Yeah, they also beat up the men who were wearing them.
No.
And even went around with wooden sticks that had nails sticking out of them to hit the hats off the top of their heads, and sometimes hit the men in the face. Thousands of teens brutally attacked and harassed men for trying to keep cool. And a bunch of them were arrested.
I have
And that
no
was like
words.
the craziest New York summer ever. So, yeah, that's that. It's super depressing. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these
people? I love that you added this segment to our show, but also why?
Well, see, here's where I have an issue. Like, that whole story wasn't, that whole September 13th, 1922 Straw Hat Riot is an issue. However, September 1st is fall, baby. Leave your summer outfits behind, okay? Move on. It's September.
I thought September 20th was fall.
I mean, it is, but in my life, the first day of my birthday month is now fall. That's that.
Yeah.
All right. It's fucking fall, y'all.
I know. I'm with you. Tomorrow I want to wear an orange wool sweater and tights, but I don't think I'm going to be allowed to, so.
Tights.
Oh, those are spicy. I like them.
I know. I already started. It was 90 fucking degrees today, but I was wearing a sweater and tights
those look like,
and loving it. They're fishnets.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're breathable.
They're breathable.
Tights.
It's fucking 90 degrees, okay? It's hot.
Those are nice, though. I like them. If you want to know what the hell we're talking about, go subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch that little fancy leg kick. And
well, I also put a picture of my outfit today on Instagram, so you can go there,
that's
too.
what Kevin was talking about. Okay.
Was he making fun of my outfit?
Yeah, he was.
What did he say?
He said, "It's the first day of September."
Oh.
He was just being funny because he knows that I am the same way as you. I love it. I love it. Great episode. Great fun fact. Again, guys, go leave those reviews. Check out our Patreon if you want some more Twisted content. Starting at $1. And we love you lots. Thank you so much for listening and continuing to listen. And we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode. And in the meantime,
Keep it twisted.
Thank you for listening to Twisted and Uncorked podcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can also check out all of our sources and materials, as well as photos for the episode, on our website at twistedanduncorked.com. And you can follow us on social media at Twisted and Uncorked or Twisted_pod on Twitter. Thank you so much for all of your love and support, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode. Cheers!